We will solve polynomial inequalities from MyOpenMath. One of our questions in our homework is the expression in factored form x plus 1 squared x minus 7 x plus 5, and we need to find the intervals for which it is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0 means greater than 0 or plus, equal to 0 or 0. I'm going to use the number line to do that. The number line is a real number line from negative infinity to infinity. And then I'm going to create a sign table. Each row is one of our factors. I don't want to write x plus 1 twice, so I'm just going to write x plus 1 squared for one of my rows, x minus 7 and x plus 5. I need to find the values of each one of those. So first I'm going to find their zeros. X plus 1 is 0 when x is equal to negative 1. X minus 7 is 0 when x is equal to 7. And x plus 5 is 0 when x is equal to negative 5. And then I'm going to find their values as a positive, negative, or 0 quantity for every value on the number line, looking at each interval separately. X plus 1 squared is 0 when x is equal to negative 1, and then it is positive everywhere else because it is squared. So when it is non-zero, then it's squared and it's positive. X minus 7 is 0 when x is equal to 7, positive when x is greater than 7, and a negative in all intervals where x is less than 7. X plus 5 is 0 when x is equal to negative 5, then it is positive in all intervals where x is greater than negative 5, and negative when x is less than negative 5. Now my expression is the product of these three quantities, sometimes positive, sometimes 0, sometimes negative. So my job is to find out what happens to the value of the expression as I multiply them. On the left, I multiply a positive and two negatives. My result is going to be positive. When x is negative 5, I multiply 0 with two other quantities. My answer will be 0. Between negative 5 and negative 1, I multiply a negative with two positives. My answer will be negative. When x is equal to negative 1, I multiply 0 with two other quantities. My answer will be 0. Between negative 1 and 7, I multiply a negative with two positives. Therefore, my answer will be negative. When x is equal to 7, one of the factors is 0. Therefore, the product will be 0. And from 7 to infinity, all factors are positive. Therefore, when I multiply them, I will get a positive product. Now, remember that I'm looking for plus and I'm looking for 0. Plus and 0 occurs in the interval negative infinity to negative 5, for x equal to negative 5, for x equal to negative 1, for x equal to 7, and in the interval from 7 to infinity. So I'm going to write this in interval notation. It looks like this. Open, negative infinity, comma, negative 5, closed, union. This is just a set that has the number 1, and union, closed 7 to infinity. However, MyOpenMath doesn't accept braces, so I'm going to write that as an interval, which will only have one value. It's going to be closed at 1, and it's going to go to 1 again and close as well. I'm now going to solve another question, question 14 in MyOpenMath homework. Our expression is the factored polynomial on the left. It has actually 4 terms, 4 factors. One of them is negative 1. And the interpretation of less than 0 means negative. So again, I'm going to do the number line. That will help me do the sign table, negative infinity to positive infinity. I'm going to use a row for each one of my factors. My factors are negative 1, x minus 3, x plus 2, and x plus 8. I need to find the values of these expressions as x takes different values on the number line. -1 is never 0, it's just always negative. X minus 3 is 0 when x is equal to 3. X plus 2 is 0 when x is equal to -2. X plus 8 is 0 when x is equal to -8. And again, my number line is split into 4 intervals, and I'm going to determine the values of each one of the terms. -1 is always negative. X minus 3 is 0 at 3, positive when x is greater than 3, and negative when x is less than 3. X plus 2 is 0 at -2, positive when x is greater, and negative when x is less than -2. X plus 8 is negative when x is less than -2, and positive when x is greater than -8. And my expression, which is the product of those, will be the product of 4 negatives, that's a positive quantity, will be the product of 0 and something else, which will be 0, will be a product of 3 negatives and 1 positive, that will make it a negative quantity. It will be the product of 0 and something else, so it will be 0 when x is -2. It will be the product of 2 negative factors and 2 positive factors, so it's going to be positive. It will be the product of a 0 factor and some other factors, so it's going to be 0. And it will be the product of 1 negative and 3 positives on the right, so that's going to make it a negative quantity. Now remember, I'm looking for negative quantity for my expression, which happens between -8 and -2, and from 3 to infinity. Equal to 0 is not one of the solutions, so I'm going to write this as an interval. Parenthesis -8, comma -2, parenthesis, so the interval is open, union 3 to infinity.